We continue to learn more and more details as the hours pass by about the attempted assassination of Trump, a horrific tragedy that led Cory Comparator dead. And it just horrible. Now, I want to walk through some of what we've learned. There are conflicting reports about a bunch of things, so I'll explain to you what they are, what the conflict is. And as I told you in a past segment, I was there with my team, so we sort of observed. We weren't super close, but observed the panic as we were sort of on the periphery of people running out and screaming and trying to figure out what had just happened. And so I do just want to say up front, for my full show viewers, you're going to hear me say this multiple times, but I know a lot of people are just watching one segment, so I want to make sure that you hear this as well. But I'm seeing members of not powerful Democrats, which is a good thing to see. Powerful Democrats are being universal in their denunciation of this act of violence, as we all should be. So that's good, and I've seen integrity there. But some people just online pushing conspiracy theories, people that you would say are on my side, right? Which is why I'm sort of directing it at you. People making jokes and things to that effect, and that's not us. If you are a part of the pro-democracy movement, that's not us. We need to have integrity and resonate with the tragedy of someone losing their life too, if you include the shooter, but in the case of the victim, and how close a former president got to dying. So we can have our political disagreements, we can continue to express those, as I'll be doing, without making light of this event. So with that being said, we have video coming out, and they've lined up, which is just stunning and chilling to observe, video of spectators, Trump supporters on one side, getting video of the attempted assassin before he did so, and warning police, as you've seen before, but this particular video is just remarkably scary. And then that split screen with Trump's speech, so you can see how long passed by with law enforcement being warned about this, and just what happened is the question people are having. This was an obvious place that someone with this intention would get up and sit up there and shoot from there. What happened? What security lapse happened? And so here's this.
If he was doing his job, I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd be at some beautiful place with a gorgeous ocean.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down. You see him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
And still I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a senator.
What's happening?
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look.
And it's
There he
not
is.
easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here. And it's much tougher than if it happened. We're the strongest border.
I'll describe for podcast listeners. I'm sure you can sort of decipher what's going on, but Trump speaking on one side, and then multiple people are saying, someone's on the roof, he's on the roof.
Ever. In recorded history, we're the best border. In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they can do it. Do you guys have access to that chart that I love so much? You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, do you? Because these teleprompters are so damn boring, I try and explain that. Oh, there's it. Wow. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time. My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big red arrow, right? So that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of border.
And let's see if we can skip forward here to shortly before.
That chart's a couple months old, and if you want to really see something that says,
and then the images and video that you see many times. But Biden has said that an independent review needs to be done, and that's the case. We need an investigation into how this happened. because a key tenet of our democracy is that these disagreements and then rallies like this can all be done within the assumption of peace. And that's why we invest so much money in Secret Service, so that leaders can go into communities and speak to them, whether we agree or disagree with what they're saying, but do so, and everyone there can assume that they're going to be safe. And I will say, I want the pros to get to the bottom of what happened. Being there, some people are saying, oh, this is why more resources need to be invested and stuff to that effect. Obviously, on principle, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But I do just want to know, it feels like something went wrong, a mistake was made, because there were so many people of Secret Service or local law enforcement all over the place. How they would have needed more people to be able to identify that when they were being told, when it was an obvious location, and when there were so many random people just walking around, random law enforcement officers, I should say, and Secret Service agents just everywhere. As happens every time I've gone to an event for Biden or covering Trump, always there's so much Secret Service presence. And so what happened? Because it couldn't have been a lack of staffing. What happened that this could have taken place? Now, one of the examples of the conflicting reports, I'll show you the attempted assassin's face here. From what we understand, false photos have been spread of him, but this one seems to be confirmed at this point in time. Republicans against Trump are reporting that a former classmate of the Trump shooter tells the Philadelphia Inquirer that he was definitely a conservative. We know he was a registered Republican, but then we're seeing some reports, many, that he had donated to a progressive cause. Just to understand the motive here, was it he believed that Trump, as is a possibility, we don't know, so let's not make authoritative statements, but that Trump wasn't right-wing enough, or was this the more widely asserted position that he was on the left, again, registered Republican? Quote, he was definitely conservative. It makes me wonder why he would carry out an assassination attempt on the conservative candidate. The majority of the class were on the liberal side, but Tom, no matter what, always stood his ground on the conservative side. So I'm repeating over and over again, so none of you jump to conclusions. We don't know. We're going to wait for the investigation to play out. Me showing you that is to demonstrate lots of reports that he donated to a progressive cause some money. Some of those reports being contradicted. This is the first time, from Republicans against Trump, citing the Philadelphia Inquirer, that I'm seeing this note that maybe not just his party affiliation, but he was definitely conservative. So we don't know. That's the point I'm trying to make. Let's not jump to conclusions, as many people have been doing, and let's not use this in either direction as justification to spew harmful rhetoric. Then you can see this on screen, just the closeness to it being even more tragic for Donald Trump, because he turned his head right at the moment before the shot. He avoided that going into his head, and it's just so dang frightening. Then you do have a former classmate saying this.
He was bullied almost every day.
In what way? Can you explain?
I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays, so they're gonna see someone like that and they're gonna target him because they think it's funny or whatever. So it's the best way I can describe it. And it's honestly kind of sad. Like, I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know.
Yeah. You said he was a loner?
Yeah. I want to say he was a loner more because he was quiet, but like he was just bullied. Like he was bullied so much.
This is high school.
Yeah.
What did they, do you remember at all what they said to him or called him?
No. He was just made fun of, I guess, for the way he dressed or his appearance.
So giving some background there, but then to illustrate the point that I made before, I'll just throw this up on screen. You can see the building. Again, I'll try to describe the best that I can to depict a mental picture for our audio listeners. But you have a building that's just the closest and most obvious position for someone attempting to do this. That would be as someone who's not professionally trained, who's not someone who's ever been involved in law enforcement or the military, I would immediately think, let's have people up on those buildings just to make sure no one goes there, right? And so what happened? That people were being warned and it still didn't work. Clearly a lapse and security mistake being made, and this is so important that, as I previously mentioned, we provide a safe environment for anyone engaging in our political system. You had a member of the rally saying this as well.
We noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling.
Unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. And again, this is unacceptable. We advocate for our positions in a democratic system through our democratic process. And any of you hearing that's not going to do anything, because the type of deranged, unwell individual that would do something like this is probably not listening to a show like this. But we're going to continue to figure out, how do we proceed? How do we try? Because I do resonate with the calls we've been hearing from people. How do we try to unite without giving up on what is such an important political mission and what is an important advocacy for positions that impact millions of people's lives? And so I'm encouraging everyone to be compassionate with the rhetoric, but to not completely abandon what is a real pressing conversation about this November election. Let me know what you thought of all that in the comments.